What's going on, Big Blue Nation and sports fans everywhere, and welcome back to the BBN Report, where we talk all things college football and basketball and Kentucky Wildcats. And as you guys can see, I am joined by my co-host today, Kobe, who really wanted to be on the couch today and be a part of this video. Now, as always in these preview videos, I'll always recap the previous game. And the reason I do that is because I don't see a reason to devote two separate videos at that, to one game instead of just being able to recap one game and another game. So, as always, I will recap our win over Mount St. Mary's, an 80-55 win for the Cats. Now, for the most part, I thought Kentucky played really well in this game. I thought the first half, up until about the 5 or 6 minute mark in the first half, I kind of thought their defense was a little lackadaisical. What I mean is, their defense didn't play bad, I thought, in the first half. I just thought their defense was a little lackadaisical and it really didn't disrupt anything that Mount St. Mary's wanted to do. And of course, around the 5 minute mark or so, Kentucky kind of decided, well, okay, we're going to really step this up. And from that point on, Mount St. Mary's had a very hard time running any kind of offense whatsoever. And of course, we had another big performance from Oscar. Had 24 points and 16 rebounds on the game that really helped lead the Cats the way. And that is now the most rebounds for a Kentucky player through 3 games. And if I remember seeing something about, it was like the most rebounds to start a season in like 25 years or second most or something. Like, I think it was second most now that I think about it. Because that's just been crazy what Oscar's been doing on the boards. And lately he just hasn't been able to be stopped on the boards. Now, other performances that for Kentucky the other night against Mount St. Mary's was Ty Washington with another really great game with 16 points, and Severe Wheeler had 12 points and 8 assists to lead the Cats in the assist category. Now, of course, I thought Kentucky played really well in this game all the way up until about the 7 minute mark, and it kind of seemed like it became more of a pickup basketball game at that point, which some people I've seen kind of overreacting to that, of them kind of going cold in the last handful of minutes of that game. And let's face it, that game kind of turned into more of a pickup basketball game, and I really don't think fans should be reading too much into that. Now, I do know one fan out there during that stretch was probably sweating bullets. That guy out there that had a $225,000 bet on the Cats to cover the 24.5 and ended up covering that 24.5 just barely on at 25. Now, I couldn't imagine having $225,000 just to blow on one college basketball game. That must be nice. And if you ask me, with Zane Payne's layup there and the 2 free throws to preserve that cover for him, I definitely think that he should be sending a little bit of that money to Zane's way, since he netted $200,000 in that bet. Now, we're talking about old stuff. Let's get into why we're actually here, and that is a preview for the Kentucky Wildcats versus the Ohio Bobcats. The Bobcats are 3-0 heading into this game with wins over Belmont, Cleveland State, and a common opponent in Robert Morris. This is actually a pretty good Ohio Bobcats team, and in my opinion, I think this is going to be Kentucky's toughest game of their current 7-game homestand that they are currently in the middle of. This is the same Ohio Bobcats team that last year made the NCAA tournament and got a 62-58 win over the Virginia Cavaliers. So obviously this team is a very good team and is capable of coming in and winning this game. Even though they did lose Jason Preston to the NBA draft off of last year's team, but they do return some pretty good players onto this roster, including Mark Sears, who is averaging 19 points a game so far this year, and Jason Carter, who is averaging 15.3 points a game and 8.1 rebounds a game. So obviously they got some pretty good players on this team that's going to be able to really hang in there and bang around, and this will definitely be a test, in my opinion. If Oscar manages to pick up foul trouble, this will be a game that can really test Kentucky's big guy depth down in their post depth really early on in this season, to really see where it's at. On top of being a pretty good basketball team, the Ohio Bobcats are a very good shooting team. They are currently averaging 38% as a team from the 3-point line, and they're taking over 30 shots per game from that. And they're also a very unselfish team as well. They are averaging 17.3 assists a game. So obviously this is going to be an early season test of how good Kentucky's 3-point defense is to this point in the season. This is definitely going to be a game that they're going to have to defend the 3, because like I said, they're hitting it at 38% as a team. So we're definitely going to have to chase shooters off of the three-point line. I also think this is a team that Kentucky doesn't need to have hang around. This is definitely a team that Kentucky really needs to go out and play good defense and, kind of get a big lead on this team early, maybe shake their confidence a little bit. Because, like I said, this team did make the NCAA tournament last year and got a very good win over Virginia, doing something that the other Ohio team that made the tournament last year in Ohio State. So obviously this team is just nothing to scoff at. But on the bright side, I do think Kentucky's going to roll in this game once again. I do think Ohio's a very good team. I don't think Ohio has anybody who can guard Oscar Tshiebwe, so I expect another big performance out of him. Same with Ty. I expect another really good performance out of him. I think he's going to be probably the best player on the court, from a guard perspective. And I don't really think anybody on Ohio can really match up with the size. Now, I'll be honest, I have not looked at the heights of these players for Ohio, but I don't think they have anybody that can really match up height-wise or speed-wise with Kentucky, which really gives Kentucky a very distinct advantage in here. And obviously, Kentucky's going to have the best point guard on the floor in Seville Wheeler. Now, I'm not sure what the betting line is for you bettors out there, but I personally think the safe bet here is betting the under, taking Ohio to beat the spread here. I think this is a team that's going to hit a lot of threes. And if Kentucky's not hitting a lot of threes with them, which we all know Kentucky's a very good three-point shooting team this year, I definitely think this is a team that can beat the spread if you're a betting man out there. But on top of them being a good three-point shooting team, it's easy to be a good three-point shooting team when you're playing Belmont, Cleveland State, and Robert Morris. And those teams are obviously not to the caliber or the size-wise of Kentucky is. So we'll definitely see how they handle Kentucky's size when it comes to shooting the three. But as for a prediction for tomorrow night's game, I think Kentucky's probably going to win around the 81 to 67, 65, 68 range, somewhere right around in there probably. That would probably be a pretty safe bet there. I just think that this team will be able to hit enough shots to keep in this game, at least keep it close for a while before ultimately Kentucky wears them down and is able to pull away with their size and their depth. But hey, that's been another Kentucky basketball preview and prediction from me. If you like the content, what you're seeing here, drop a like on the video because a little love does go a long way. And go and hit that subscribe button, whether you be a fan of Kentucky or a fan of Ohio here, or just a random fan of another team who tuned into this particular video, because I do talk, for the most part, all things college football and basketball with a weekly college football wrap-up on Sunday afternoons. And if you're into that kind of thing, then I think this will definitely be the channel for you, and I'll go ahead and catch you guys in the next one.